It's a bad day for Harry when elite Hollywood A-listers are mocking him, are branding him a coward, a charlatan. When Gwyneth Paltrow, among her elite A-plus group of friends, are mocking this man. And basically, they have lost any little respect they had for him because they actually thought he was going to go through with the lawsuit, just like Gwyneth had done. But again, as usual, Harry never fails to disappoint. He always delivers failure.
And you're bringing this claim for $1.
I am.
Okay. In fact, your counsel, Steve, do you still have that dollar bill?
Yes, I'll let you use your own.
I'm not even gonna respond to that. I don't need it.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't need it. You saw Mr. Owens wave that $1 around, right?
I did.
Okay. $1 in symbolic damages. Is that accurate?
It's an actual dollar that I'm asking for. Mr. Sanderson categorically hit me on that ski slope, and that is the truth.
And I'm sure that that's what you believe. I'm not saying
Because it's the truth.
Has the jury reached a verdict? Will you please hand it to the bailiff, and the bailiff will bring it to me? Thank you. You may be seated.
That was Gwyneth Paltrow that you just saw in the intro of this video. This is a woman who risked her reputation and went to trial because the goal of her lawsuit was to show the truth. She wasn't asking for money. In fact, she asked for $1, which she got. She risked everything because she knew she was telling the truth. And most importantly, for her, for reals, it wasn't about the money. It was about to clear her reputation, to expose the lies, to stop this exploitations of celebs. And basically that was what Harry was saying he wanted to do, that he was going to see it through no matter what, because he could. I mean, of course he did. And what do we see now? The moment this lawsuit or this settlement came, that Associated Press settled. It wasn't that Harry settled. It was Associated Press, because it was Harry's lawyers who sought Associated Press. They sought the settlement because had they gone to trial, Harry would have been destroyed. And Harry took the money and he knew it. So for him, it wasn't really about establishing the truth or fighting for the 1,300 other victims, clearly. So what does Harry do? Another disaster tourist. And of course, they use something that is incredibly exploitative. He goes to the Salinas Fire Department and he makes sure that today those pictures were released of him petting the dogs, posing with the fire department workers, delaying them with his camera in tow. This is the worst. And he's doing it because he knows he is not that dumb, and he's fully aware that he was going to get the backlash, because now all of Hollywood knows that Harry is a charlatan. It's a coward. The backlash and the fallout is immense. I told you in my video earlier, please go watch it. And by the way, I did an interview today with Dan Wooden. Please go watch it. I'm going to leave the link for you to watch it as well, please. And thanks for showing your support. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And let's get into this, because isn't it exploitative that Harry is posting pictures? He makes sure that, because let's not forget that this man does not allow pictures of him to be posted without his express consent and for maximum PR advantage. And he goes along with without Meghan. And of course, they're saying that Harry's work is philanthropic. On what? Archwell, out of all the donations, they have given the bare minimum They have not contributed to anything. And posing with dogs and caressing him. Who does he think he is? The Prince of the USA? Nobody knows who Harry is, and his image and reputation is terrible. It is absolutely disgusting. But again, here we go. He knew that he was going to get bad PR. And no amount of mainstream media is going to shut us up to expose the real truth. And you're going to find out why he settled here. And we're going to discuss the fallout and the spin that is failing horribly because he's getting more and more desperate and things are not going his way.
No, I know why people have settled. They've settled because they've had to settle. So therefore, one of the main reasons for seeing this through is accountability, because I'm the last person that can actually achieve that, and also closure for these 1,300 people and families.
It was quite shameful to see GB News, CNN proclaim Harry's huge win. But it wasn't Harry, again, as I repeat, who settled. It was his lawyers that approached the Associated newspapers. They wanted to once again raise the amount of money that the prince was willing to take to sell his soul to the devil. So that's what really happened. And unlike Gwyneth, who went the distance and fought, and she was exposed horribly. They brought up everything. They threw everything at that woman, her lifestyle, everything, whatever you can think of. She put herself on that stand, knowing full well that she was going to be trashed, beautiful people. And she took it. The ovaries of steel, that woman, whatever. I might think that her goop thing is a little bit out there, with her vajayjay candles. But still, she stood out there and stood her ground and said, I know I'm telling the truth and I'm going to see this until the end. She saw it to the end. Now, Harry got an apology. And according to, depending on who you want to believe, $10 million, there is a dispute whether or not he paid the legal fees. Today in my interview with Dan Wooden, he's led to believe that the newspapers were going to also absorb the legal fees for Harry. But then again, the Daily Mail and other outlets are claiming that he is the one who has to pay the legal fees, in which case he will have very little money left to give Meghan for another plastic surgery or another holiday. I just want to take a little bit of a side note too here, because today, you know that Harry also in 2026 has another trial against the newspapers again. And he has a trial in April against the people of the United Kingdom, but because he wants them to continue paying for his security that he doesn't deserve. He's already quit royal life, but he has that. And what happens today? Pictures of the future Queen of England, an actual proper ultra. Catherine. Royalty is not even A-list people. Royalty is in a different league, except Harry, right? But she's walking, shopping, getting her eye tested. I'm sure she's going to look fab with glasses. And she's beautiful. This is a beautiful woman. You don't see a bodyguard around. I am pretty sure that she has one or maybe two. I'm sure she has somebody person following her, but not that amount of bodyguards. You're able to take the pictures and you don't see the bodyguard surrounding her like they do with Meghan Markle, where they're looking around as though, she is the most important person in the world. No, Princess Catherine is shopping in the streets of London. So we have 2 more lawsuits to look forward to with Harry. Keep in mind that he gets security if he gives 28 days notice in advance. So I don't even understand why this man is still indulged to do that. I'm going to read you the NGN apologies to the claimant. It says that NGN offers full and unequivocal apology to the Duke of Sussex for the serious intrusion by the Sun between 1996 and 2011 into his private life, including incidents of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for the Sun. NGN also offers a full unequivocal apology to the Duke of Sussex for the phone hacking, surveillance, and misuse of private information by journalists and private investigators instructed by them at the News of the World. NGN further apologizes to the Duke for the impact of the extensive coverage, serious intrusion into his private life, as well as the private life of Diana, Princess of Wales, his late mother, in particular during his younger years. We acknowledge and apologize for the distress caused to the Duke and the damage inflicted on relationships. He means Chelsea. That's really why he's angry, because he wants to blame the press for Chelsea dumping his ass, not because he was a hateful, horrible person who cheated on Chelsea, and Chelsea had just had enough of him. Because you see, in his mind, he considers himself so amazing that he can't understand any woman not wanting to be with him. Okay? But that's the crux, in my humble opinion, as to why he's so angry, because he wants to blame somebody for Chelsea dumping him. We acknowledge and apologize for the distress caused to the Duke and the damage inflicted on relationships, friendships, and family, and have agreed to pay him substantial damages. It is also acknowledged, without any admission of illegality, that NGN's response to the 2006 arrests and subsequent actions were regrettable. NGN also offers a full unequivocal apology to Lord Watson for the unwarranted intrusion carried out into his private life during his time in government by the News of the World during the period of 2009 and 2011. This includes him being placed under surveillance in 2009 by journalists at the News of the World and those instructed by them. NGN also acknowledges and apologizes for the adverse impact this had on Lord Watson's family and has agreed to pay him substantial damages. In addition, in 2011, News International received information that information was being passed covertly to Lord Watson from within News International. We now understand that this information was false, and Lord Watson was not in receipt of any such confidential information. NGN apologizes fully and unequivocally for this. That's the thing that they did. I don't even know how to stress that this case is an old case, that these apologies were made. There was even something called the Levinson Inquiry. The newspaper was disbanded. People even went to jail. People lost their jobs. There were fines. They already had apologized. And this is what comes next. So Harry criticized his brother for accepting to settle out of court. After they had, the NGN had already apologized. The newspaper there was a huge inquiry. There were apologies. There were arrests. Things were made. Back then, Harry was offered. Now, there was no severe intrusion in Harry's life because after Princess Diana died, the press stayed away from them. They gave them peace. Absolutely. There was, Princess Diana's death was basically Prince Harry and Prince William were left alone. In fact, the only people who were, there was an incident, I don't know if you remember this, but Prince Edward actually used to have a TV company or some sorts, and he filmed Prince William at Eton College, and there were huge complaints by the press by saying, hey, wait a minute, we are respecting the privacy of Prince William and Prince Harry, but here you have Prince Edward taking advantage of that, and it's actually breaking that rule that we all have. So Prince Edward apologized, and they moved on. So Harry did have privacy. Nobody was haunting him like he said there were. And most of the time, nobody chased him. It was Princess Diana. And they apologized to him, especially after her death. So this is what they come and clarified. And news group's newspaper statement in full. Because it's always important to know and read the full statement. Today, we have come to agreements with the Duke of Sussex and Lord Watson to pay damages and to settle their cases. It is in the interest of all the parties to come to a settlement. This statement is to clarify questions raised after the hearing. It has long been a matter of record that the Duke of Sussex's phone was hacked by the News of the World. Absolutely. The people served criminal sentences for this in 2006, and an apology was given. So the mainstream media is lying to you again. And unfortunately, it falls to us YouTubers to bring you the truth. Today, a full and unequivocal apology is given to the Duke of Sussex for the phone hacking again, because in 2006, they apologized profusely and also unequivocally for the phone hacking, surveillance, and misuse of private information by journalists and private investigators instructed by them at the News of the World. Phone hacking at the News of the World was not due to be a part of this trial, but it is a part of this settlement. In the 1990s and early 2000s, there was widespread use by the broadcast and news media of private investigators. In most cases, their use was for public interest journalism and to obtain information necessary for the purposes of journalism. Today, our apology to the Duke of Sussex includes an apology for incidents of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for the Sun, not by journalists, during the period of 1996 and 2011. There are strong controls and processes in place at all of our titles today to ensure this cannot happen now. There was no voicemail interception on the Sun. It must also be stressed that allegations that were being made publicly pre-trial, in parentheses, and indeed post-settlement, because they're angry of the allegations, the false allegations, and the narrative spin that Harry and the mainstream media are given to this settlement. It was the newspapers who decided to settle at the behest of Prince Harry, not the other way around. Okay? That News International destroyed evidence in 2010-2011 would have been the subject of significant challenge at trial. So they're saying that the allegations that Harry made, that they destroyed evidence or emails that the newspapers, they would have challenged that on trial because they knew they could stand their ground. These allegations were and continue to be strongly denied. Extensive evidence would have been called in trial to rebut these allegations from senior staff from technology and legal. After we served our skeleton arguments and evidence for trial, including witness statements, the Duke has not sought to pursue these allegations further, despite his stated intent, and no admission or apology has been made in relation to this. So basically, Harry is entitled to lie and defame people, but God forbid people tell the truth about him. Okay? This is significant. Of course it is. This matter was also investigated fully by the police and CPS between 2012 and 2015, at the conclusion of which it was found that there was no case to answer. Basically, Harry made it all up. Lord Watson's phone was not hacked in 2009 and 2011. And had this gone to trial, NGN would have called evidence from telecom experts to demonstrate that hacking after 2007 was nigh on impossible due to security upgrades undertaken by telecom companies. This evidence was also provided to the Levinson inquiry. No admission has been made on this today, which means that what Harry's accusing them of is false, and that the newspapers are not admitting to that because it never happened. After more than a decade of litigation and 14 years since the News of the World closed down, today's settlement draws a line under the past and brings an end to this litigation. Indeed, the judge made it clear in remarks in court at the end of the hearing that these cases are likely to be the last liable to go to trial. Any cases now brought years after the events will be liable to be struck out. I want to make a parenthesis here because actually this case should have never seen the light of day because it was already past the limitation, the statute of limitation, the statute of limitation to bring it in. And the only reason why it was allowed to continue was because Harry used his royal privilege. And the judge made a huge mistake allowing 5 years to be wasted, allowing a case whose deadline had already passed. The Sun today can face the future and continue its proud record of award-winning public interest journalism investigations and campaigning on behalf of its readers. So basically they're saying that had they gone through with the court case, had they gone to court, and we know that Dan Wood was ready and willing to jump, he was willing to come out for Harry. And we know that the investigator that they said that had been investigating on behalf of the NGN, he stated that that was not the case. So basically, yes, they did issue an apology, but they also did issue a lengthy explanation of what was really going on. Also, the settlement was reached at the insistence of Prince Harry, who did not want to face one day in court. He is truly indeed a pussy prince. So now that you know that, it is unbelievable because Gwyneth Paltrow, A-listers, like proper A-listers, were at a gathering helping for the fires and stuff. And because the news broke, and they were all absolutely aghast at the cowardice of Prince Harry, at what a charlatan. They all kept saying, oh man, this guy is truly a charlatan. They could not believe that he is related to the Queen, to Prince William, because he ended up after 5 years of moaning and bitching and falsely claiming he was going to see it through, begging his lawyers to reach a settlement. Now, I repeat, it is not clear whether the newspapers is paying or not for the fees. From what I read on the mainstream media, he has to pay his own legal bills, which would leave very little because as far as I remember, there were up to $48 million. Okay. So, but isn't it amazing that Hollywood has had enough of a coward? Hollywood, I don't even know how Harry can show his face anywhere, which is why these pictures dropped today about the firefighters in Salina. You know, Harry loves pets. He's a philanthropist. Out of all the millions, they still have over $8 million in their bank accounts. They haven't donated to most of it. That shameful disaster tourist thing that Justin Bateman did was awful. And he deserves every mocking, every disrespect. Harry has earned the disrespect of the entire world because he chose to marry a D-list mattress actress who indulged his most vile, darkest, impulses, while he's claiming to be a winner, using the puppets of the mainstream media to say, what a huge win for Harry. No, it was a huge win for the newspapers because they proved that Harry has a price. And Hollywood, they know it. Please let me know what you think. What do you think of Gwyneth Paltrow's comments? Do you think that they are at all appropriate? Do you think that she's right? Do you think she's right in mocking them? Do you think that all the A-listers mocking them, calling them disaster tourists, and now with this latest thing, which is that final nail in their coffin, whatever reputation they had, because Harry may have won 10 million pounds, but he lost the respect of the entire world. Again, thanks for watching, beautiful people.